no permission slip.
Ain't nobody signed a permission slip for me. Mm-mm.
No block right here. I should call it no block. It's 10 o'clock. What the fuck
He get cold.
Give a little person space.
Yeah, that nigga get
space. On my truck and
Yeah.
I don't even know you though.
You over here talking? I got millions of dollars. These niggas telling me knock you out. You broke.
Often, rappers try to act like gangsters in order to sell music. However, when people in the streets see this, they like to see for themselves, which of course causes problems. Hi, I'm Rashad Fashir, and this is when rappers get checked by gangsters. Let's talk about Drake, arguably the biggest rapper in the world right now. Now, the Drake we recognize today is a far cry from the artist he was at the start of his career. Back in the day, he was really naive when dealing with the fame and the dangers that came with it. So, in 2009, he didn't think much about investing in protection. As a result, he preferred not to spend money on private security, so when it came to going on dates or going outside, he was left vulnerable. And this decision by Drake would prove to be fatal. You see, on March 31st of 2009, Toronto's rising hip-hop star Drake was having a night out at a restaurant in Little Italy at the corner of College and Beatrice Streets. He went out on a date with a woman named Chantel Brown, and the night had been going smoothly for a while, or so he thought. Because later down the line, it took a turn for the worse. After they left the restaurant, the two armed men approached Drake's SUV. To his horror, he realized that he was being robbed, but with no security in sight, he couldn't really do anything about it. Basically, they pressed him with their tools, and Drake had little choice but to comply. So he handed them his expensive diamond gold chain that was personally gifted to him by Lil Wayne, a several $1,000 watch, and $2,000 in cash. And this all happened while Chantel sat beside him in the passenger seat. She had her purse with her and was obviously about to get robbed next. However, before the robbers could do so, someone went outside the restaurant and saw everything that happened. A bystander named Nicholas Carino walked out and yelled at the thieves to get back, according to the police. Startled, they quickly hopped into a getaway car. But wait, there's more. See, the robbers didn't exactly get away scot-free, because the getaway car was stopped by police for going the wrong way on a one-way street. Two men dove out, trying to evade arrest. This led the authorities to a foot chase where two suspects were arrested, specifically the getaway driver and another one who tried to outrun them. Unfortunately, they couldn't track the third suspect, who was also on foot. Still, they did manage to capture the two suspects, who were later charged for a number of offenses. However, the case took an unexpected turn. You see, in hip-hop, snitching is widely looked upon. And yes, even if you get robbed by some goons, it's still considered snitching if you cooperate with authorities to help them catch the goons responsible for it. And when rumors began circling that Drake had allegedly cooperated with the police and even pressed charges against the suspects, that was big news. This gossip dealt a huge blow to his street cred or exposed his lack of one, since speaking to law enforcement was seen as a violation of unwritten hip-hop rules. Most importantly, was there any truth to the rumors that Drake told on the goons? Well, a fellow Toronto rapper named Big Page agreed with the notion that Drake was a snitch, and Big Page wasn't just any other Canadian rapper. No, he actually worked with them on the track I'm Still Fly prior to the robbery. If you check the song out, you can hear his voice on the chorus. To make it worse, he even posted court documents that showed Drake's legal name in it, accusing the rapper of pushing charges against the goons. In response to this, Drake denied ever working with the police, and his lawyer also claimed that he stopped cooperating with the police at some point. So without the victim of the robbery's testimony, the case was as good as done. But with the prosecution weekend, the charges were dropped a couple of months later, and this was great news for the robbers because they only allegedly served 6 months in jail for the whole crime. Also, remember the third suspect who wasn't caught? Well, as luck would have it, he was never arrested. But here's where it gets messier. See, Drake didn't believe that the robbery was any regular lick. No, he believed that the timing was far too convenient for it to be a coincidence. So, he suggested that the robbery was a setup by none other than the woman he was on a date with, Chantel Brown. Which is interesting, because in an interview with Joe Budden, he'd stated that the only time he'd get dissed or get into a beef is with a woman.
If I get this, it's gonna be a female trying to get at me, I bet.
Yeah? Why?
I don't know.
To add to that, he also talked about it in an interview with GQ that year, saying, "I knew it was a setup because I had on a sweater and a jacket, but when they banged on the car window with a tool and opened the door, the first thing he said was, 'Yo, run that chain.'" He claimed that there was no way for the robbers to know that he had a specific chain on him since he covered it up quite well, which led to him thinking that she was the one who told him about it prior to the encounter. Also, remember when the robbers conveniently decided to not rob Chantel? He also brought it up. "They didn't rob my date, and her purse was sitting right there." So I was like, yep, you set the whole thing up. But Drake wasn't done accusing her, because in the third track of Thank Me Later, titled The Resistance, he addressed the situation, rapping, "Maybe it was fast-paced switch-up, or the two tools in my face during the stick-up, maybe because the girl I thought I trusted was who set the whole up." And of course, in true Drake fashion, he implied her involvement in the robbery on the song Lord Knows on the Take Care album by rapping, "It's your worst nightmare, it's my first sight here, and this girl right here, who knows what she knows." After he brought it up 2 times on 2 separate tracks, he still wasn't finished. 10 years later, he talked about the incident once again on his Dark Lane demo tapes, rapping, "Went and got a chain for me, I had to give it up." Yeah, this was in reference to the Lil Wayne chain that was snatched by the goons. So from that day on, Drake has never been spotted with at least 3 black SUVs with towering bodyguards wherever he goes. But unfortunately for him, that wasn't the only time that Drake got checked. See, many fans actually don't know that Diddy and Drake had beef at one point, especially considering how the two were always perceived to be on great terms with each other. For context, they shared a great relationship, collaborating on Diddy's track Lovin' You No More, from Last Train to Paris in 2010, and there was even that memorable moment when Drake brought Diddy and Mace out during OVO Fest.
On the balcony with Mosey Amphitheater. OVO. Like I said, my first show ever at this venue, and I still got the t-shirt to prove it, Puff Daddy and the family.
However, some speculate that the tension between the two began during a live performance when his mic suddenly stopped working. In a disrespectful move, Drake stole the Bad Boy record mogul's mic straight from his hand. But the relationship got worse when the two fought over a beat. See, at first, Drake's producer, Boy Wanda, played the beat for Diddy while he was working with them on a song. We'll call this beat 0 to 100. After he heard it, Diddy initially rejected the beat after he felt like it wasn't anything special. After that, Diddy supposedly sent the beat to Drake and wanted him to ghostwrite the song with his own verse added in. In an interview with The Breakfast Club, he later confirmed this to be the case after Angela Yee asked him.
I mean, you sent Drake the song for him to get on it for you?
No, for him to ghostwrite for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But after Drake finished writing the entire song, he sent it back to Diddy only to get no response. Time went by and Diddy never used the beat. In Drake's mind, that meant that Puff had no interest in taking the track anymore, leaving him with the finished song and no plans for it. Understandably so, he thought the song was already abandoned, so he went ahead and uploaded it to SoundCloud. It blew up and became a massive hit. So everything should have been good for him, right? Nope, not at all. This decision by Drake to upload it 0 to 100 would later be the start of their beef. You see, even though Diddy never used the track, he was jealous of the success that the song was getting. From his point of view, Drake stole the beat and capitalized on the song without his permission. So a few months went by as Diddy's jealousy was left festering. But when the 57th Grammy Awards came, that was the final straw for him. See, the song was nominated for Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song at the same time, and in Diddy's eyes, this was his beat and his song. So that meant that all the accolades that it could have got went to him instead. So finally, this culminated in a DJ Khaled party at a club in Miami. While Khaled was partying it up in a club celebrating his birthday, Diddy approached Drake out of nowhere and started to check him about his use of the beat. This turned into an all-out confrontation where he accused Drake of using his music without the proper rights. Drake refused to engage with him as he left the club and made his way to his car. However, according to sources, Diddy followed him outside and pressed him once more. Diddy left the club on his own and made a beeline towards the car, like he was a man on a mission. But by that point, Drake was already in his SUV, so in an effort to look tough, he got out and started walking up to Diddy, which was a huge mistake on his end, because as soon as he got close to him, Diddy gave him a small case of the beats, causing a scene as both he and Diddy's security tried to de-escalate the scuffle before it got too far. As this happened, Drake dislocated his shoulder in the commotion and had to be taken to the hospital that night. One fan recalled that he was holding his shoulder like it was dislocated. He was in obvious pain, meaning Diddy was heard shouting something to the effect of, "Handle your business." As for Diddy, he went back inside the club while Drake decided to not follow him in. A witness also added, Drake knew that if he went in, there would be an all-out. So the fact that Diddy checked Drake for using a beat that he wanted nothing to do with in the first place is wild, but I guess that's hip-hop for you. Speaking of rappers facing heated moments, let's talk about YB and Namir, who got checked live on Instagram. See, in February of 2022, Namir found himself in a weird spot during an Instagram live with Texas rapper Jace. Things spiraled out of control when Jace pressed Namir about allegedly switching from GD, Gangster Disciple, to Crip. Basically, he changed gangs, and that's not exactly normal. Initially, Namir claimed that he didn't know who Jace was.
Bro,
How you went from banging GD to Crip?
bro, who are you, dude?
Don't play like you don't know me. You remember me, bro.
I don't know you at all.
Like, don't really play like that. Like, I know, like,
Well, Jace and his friends didn't hold back. Instead, they flamed Namir for claiming Crip without truly being part of the gang. They accused him of being an internet kid who had no real connection to the streets. They called him out for disrespecting both gangs and questioned why anyone in the circle would even allow such a bold move. And guess what? The live quickly became viral, with pretty much every fan mocking his inability to defend himself. On the other hand, Namir denied these claims at first and said that he didn't even know who Jace was. However, Jace explained that they talked and met on Skype.
I remember when you used to ask me and my homeboy for $10 on Skype. You used to always ask us for money. Your homeboy Glizzy is a 3DS Max skin modder. Like, y'all are nerds. I know everything. But if you didn't know me, how would I know stuff like this? If you didn't know me, how would I know you went from GD to Crip?
And even though Namir kept on denying it, they continued to press the rapper about his affiliations.
Bro, who are you?
You went from GD to Crip, bro. That all you came out here to say? You not gonna explain to everybody how you went from GD to Crip? Everybody want to know because everybody waiting on you to get DP'd, bro.
The whole Instagram live was chaos.
On you to get DP'd, bro.
Do I know you? Like, you said said I knew you, bro.
If
Like, do I know
if
you?
any of
Do you
his
know me?
Crip homeboys is in this live, hit me up so you can see
You
the
know
video,
me?
bro.
Or do I
Banging
know you?
GD, so y'all can go on DP his ass. You know?
At one point, Namir was the one doing the checking.
Where do your DP come from? Where are you from?
From Fort Worth. What the f?
You from Fort Worth, but
Yes,
like,
I'm from Fort
where do
Worth,
your-
Texas.
where do
Nigga,
your-
real 5 dudes.
However, changing the topic wasn't enough as they were eager to get some answers.
Bro, if you
How'd you go from GD to
stupid.
Crib?
Like you're
How'd you
dumb.
go from GD to Crib?
Twin,
Bro,
you don't
you
even gotta
niggas
do that.
is
You don't gotta
retarded
explain
as fuck.
yourself. He the
You
one
niggas
gotta
gotta do
explain. How did you
That's
go
what
from
I'm
GD to
saying.
Crip?
Like, I'm trying to get an answer out of him. Like,
Let us know, Namir.
And when Namir finally explained how he went to GD and Crips, all you said was, it happened.
I'm talking.
What the fuck are you talking
How you?
about?
How you? I'm gonna let you talk. How you went from GD to Crib?
How I went from GD to Crip? It happened.
There is no way on five, dude. There is no way.
You joking?
Bro, you didn't even-
Christ, there
bro.
is no fucking way you just said.
Jace burst out laughing at first, but it was clear things were just heating up.
You're doing wrong, bro.
60K, what's up?
You're doing wrong, bro.
60K, what's up?
You're doing wrong, bro.
I said that.
You're doing wrong, little bro.
You trying to claim neighborhood and you not even really neighborhood. I said that. What you gonna do about it?
And when Namir decided to leave the live,
What
What'd
you
he say?
gonna do about it?
What did he say? He's breaking up.
Bro, you gotta chill that shit out. Hey,
Namir's response was shockingly casual. However, it did destroy his street credibility a bit more. But you know what was worse than the actual moment itself? You see, the aftermath of the Instagram live was brutal for Namir. After all, he just got checked live with hundreds of people watching.
I do. You're not talking to me, bro. All my
You
shit
from
is
five
solid.
dudes?
I'm asking you
Both
questions.
y'all
You the one
five
getting checked.
Hell
You
no,
the
I
one-
ain't from
you
five
the one
dudes.
getting checked.
Hell no.
I'm asking you questions. You the one getting
Both.
Social media erupted with jokes and memes, saying that he was just a poser trying to maintain an image he couldn't back up. And while the live session with Jace was the most heated incident, it wasn't the first time Namir's authenticity had been called into question. Old photos resurfaced showing him repping GD, which further fueled the narrative that he had switched gangs. Unfortunately for Namir, the backlash wasn't just online. Later, Namir tried to rectify the situation by clarifying his gang affiliations in an interview with No Jumper. He admitted to spending significant time in Southern California after moving away from his hometown about 8 years ago, and he explained that his structure and identity developed in LA. He would also deny the claims about being deeply tied to LA gangs. According to Namir, he didn't really know much about LA politics when he first arrived.
Damn, I didn't even notice, but he did start talking like he's from LA.
You seen that
Long
too?
Beach, brother. That's
Nah, I don't know nothing about no LA. To be honest, 100%. Like, nah, straight up. But
Namir further explained that it was just about adapting to his environment. Having left home at a young age, he spent almost a decade in Southern California, saying,
and I understand like how my accent is changing and how shit is moving a different way. Like they think I'm supposed to sound like, hey, what's up, boy?
Well, a lot of people don't really give you credit for the fact that you left home 8 years ago.
8 years ago, like, you feel me?
making it clear that his affiliations were a natural transition, not a calculated switch.
Like that was 8 years ago. Like I damn near grew up out here.
Right.
Like I gained my structure, not to be a LA or a Long Beach, but I gained that out here. Like,
But when asked about the Instagram live confrontation, according to Namir, he genuinely didn't remember Jace despite arguing that they had worked together. Jace allegedly had collaborated during a time when Namir and Almighty J were active in gaming communities, but Namir for some reason doesn't remember it. And it kind of adds up. He became a superstar and Jace was just still a teenager. And for some reason, Namir really looked like he didn't know who Jace was. He also recalled getting laughed at when he explained how the transition happened.
go from GD to Crip, it happened.
Yeah.
Like, and then
You
straight
said
up,
that. It happened.
It happened.
And then they laughed super hard, which made it like seem funny even to people who might not have thought it was funny,
Yeah,
right?
like,
He argued that Jace acted like being put on and put off didn't exist.
like a put on and a put off don't exist, or a put off and a put on don't exist. But and it's like that. We ain't gonna talk too deep into it, but it's just like, what the?
Unfortunately for Namir, the criticism hasn't stopped yet, as afterwards, rumors started to spread that Namir was getting extorted, but Namir only laughed off these claims.
Pay who, brother? Pay who? Oh, nice.
Pay who, brother?
Like, what the f do I?
Tell them
Like,
pay
it
attention.
don't even make no sense. Like, so I just be laughing at that. Like, a lot of be just funny games.
What really happened, no one knows, but it definitely was very embarrassing. But this next rapper wasn't as soft as Namir. Chaos ensued when DaBaby got pressed by some goons while filming a music video in East Atlanta. And since DaBaby wasn't from there, these goons then started asking DaBaby where his permission slip was, and this is how DaBaby responded to them.
Ain't nobody signed up a permission slip for me. Huh? Oh yeah? I ain't know that. Okay. Okay.
He then explained that he isn't signing any permission slip and that he didn't go there to politic with local gangs.
Hey, well, they're cool. They ain't got to f with me, but I ain't signing no permission slip nowhere. That ain't what I do. Hey, look. If you want to come, if you wanted to come politic, you could have came in politic. Hey, that's all good, big homie. They said he could have just came in politic. You know, that was real nigga. I ain't no peewee.
Not backing down, DaBaby outright told the goons that he wasn't gonna check in, and he doesn't check in no matter where he goes.
Hey, no, next time I don't check in, bro. Look, like I say, next time you just say, hey, come holler at me, bro, and I come holler at you. You see what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna never check in. Hey, I'm not checking in nowhere. You hear me?
In other words, he stood on business. Eventually, the goons left, and DaBaby and his film crew went on to complete that day's shoot. Thankfully, the situation didn't escalate further to the point where someone got hurt. However, the same can't be said for this next rapper. You see, JayDaYoungan was a Louisiana rapper who had some buzz a couple of years ago, and at the height of his career, he did a show in North Carolina, a decision that would truly turn ugly down the line. As soon as it was time to wrap his show up, he exited the stage, but not before he was checked by a goon who took his chain from him. After the incident, rumors started to fly around that he had his chain snatched. And if you don't know, snatching someone's chain is considered one of the most disrespectful things you can do to a rapper, as you're basically snatching a trophy that they wear around their neck. Make sense? So what did Jay do to retaliate? Well, he took to Twitter to stop the rumors from spreading even more by writing, "If you don't know facts about a situation, don't speak on none of that." But although he pretended that his chain just happened to fall off somewhere and that it wasn't snatched, shortly after he posted the tweet, the goon responsible for stealing the chain off of him went live on Instagram and confirmed that he did in fact snatch it.
I'll show that. I know I gotta show it for what? You ain't gotta cap me.
To make matters worse, the leader of JayDaYoungan's crew, another rapper named Young and Ace, wrote on Instagram that whoever took it had an hour to return it to Jay, or else something bad was going to happen. A few hours later, Jay uploaded a video of him flexing his newly recovered chain. And from here on out, it actually got worse for the chain snatcher, because it was reported that he was taken out for stealing the ATK chain. Aaron Christopher Thomas, 21, was found near his Dodge Charger. He was taken to a hospital where he passed away a short time later. Eerily enough, he rapped about the exact situation a year prior to the incident on a song Purged, where he said, "My chain for a brain, come on, let's exchange it out. Damn, that's the same amount." So a lot of rappers lie in their lyrics like YB and Namir, but unfortunately for Aaron Thomas, Jay was really about that life. Another rapper who also lives his raps is NBA YoungBoy. See, YoungBoy is no stranger to controversies and heated situations. Growing up in the streets, YoungBoy has seen his fair share of extremely tense moments. So it's not surprising then when YoungBoy, who's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was checked by some goons while shooting a video in LA. However, he had none of it and tried to fend them off.
He not worried about nothing right here.
At the end of this encounter, someone from YoungBoy's crew allegedly pulled up with his ride, and for some reason, another person in the crowd yelled "duck." So, fearing a drive-by was imminent, people ran and the goons drove away. Thankfully, no such event happened and no one got hurt from this. But that wasn't the only time YoungBoy got involved in an altercation with some goons in LA, because only a few weeks after his music video shoot got ambushed, YoungBoy got checked again by goons who were repping the bounty hunter Watts Blood Gang. While he was walking down the street, these goons just started to walk up to him, and YoungBoy, being who he is, approached them too, leading to a heated altercation between the Bloods and YoungBoy and his crew. YoungBoy's crew held him back, explaining that he still had to perform that night, so they needed him to avoid the fight. However, later on, this argument would carry on into an alley, as the Bloods continued to follow YoungBoy as he reared his car, and YoungBoy continued yelling insults at them, saying that they're broke and he had millions of dollars in the bank.
I got millions of dollars. I got millions of dollars. I'll knock you out. Man, you broke. Come on, man. Get your clothes, man. You a bum. Broke ass.
But noticing that the Bloods were increasing in numbers, he boldly urged them to do something.
Man, you got all these with you. What's happening? But I'm not the one who got all these with you. I'm not the one who do something. Do something. You see a nigga holding me. You bought that shit, get off on him then.
YoungBoy tried to make something happen here, but one of his guys held him down to prevent anything from getting worse. As for the Bloods, it didn't look like they had the intention of hurting YoungBoy at all. Maybe they just were there to get a rise out of him. Either way, it's lucky YoungBoy was able to get out of these altercations in LA without as much as a scratch, twice. Aside from the one getting checked, YoungBoy has also been responsible for other rappers getting checked, albeit indirectly. See, in 2022, YoungBoy released the track Bring the Hook, which was a diss track aimed at O-Block and King Von. Considering how notorious everyone involved in this beef was, it had the hip-hop community talking about it for days. Referencing the track, DJ Academics tweeted, NBA YoungBoy on demon time right now. Sheesh. While retweeting DJ Academics' tweet, Lil Reese, who's affiliated with O-Block, said, "That ain't no demon time, he just rapping like the rest of these rappers all rap." But here's where it got bad. NLE Choppa, who's from Memphis, then responded to Lil Reese's tweet saying, "I stamped that." In other words, he agreed. Of course, NLE Choppa isn't from O-Block, but responding to Lil Reese's tweet let the fans know where his allegiances lay. That said, NLE Choppa should have just kept his mouth shut because that tweet made him the target of some of YoungBoy's most dedicated fans, and these fans can be truly extreme. For example, soon after, one of YoungBoy's diehard fans attempted to attack NLE Choppa while he was just casually walking in public. You see, when this YoungBoy superfan spotted NLE Choppa at a car rental facility, he wasted no time in approaching him and asking him if he was NLE.
That's a mad time. What? Stop playing.
And while this man, who clearly is sane and well adjusted by the way, claimed that he knocked down NLE, the video shows that NLE just slipped and the guy's blow barely landed. NLE later explained his side of the story on Twitter, as well as what he thought of being attacked by a random stranger in public. In a now deleted tweet, he said, "I be at peace minding my business, but the devil will work overtime to bring negativity to someone who seeks positivity. Begging y'all to leave me alone, I'm not one of them no matter how much I've changed. I'll put anybody under. I got a daughter, a son on the way, and a family to feed." And explaining why it looked like he fell down during the altercation, he continued, "It's a difference from getting hit and falling than fighting in flip-flops and falling on your own. I fell throwing a blow. I didn't get hit till I was on the way down and my backpack's 20 pounds. My whole ankle rolled, I got ice on it right now." So clearly, some of these diehard fans can be crazy. He also talked about the situation during an interview with a podcast, explaining how excruciating that moment was for him because he was already having a bad day prior to getting run up on by that particular fan.
At the end of the day, like, you know what I'm saying, niggas is human. We human. Like, you don't know what I was just going through. Like, I had just gotten into it with somebody. I was just arguing with somebody previously before I even got to that point. So a lot of stuff build up, certain stuff that you don't see, you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes, and then you come to somebody and you say certain words that's gonna trigger that person.
And YoungBoy would never speak on the situation publicly. Now, while all of the rappers we've talked about so far have pretty much gotten out of their situations with goons unharmed and unchanged, the same cannot be said for this situation. So let's talk about what happened to Quando Rondo and how he got checked by a particular gang in LA. These days, Quando Rondo's become infamous/notorious for causing the passing of O-Block rapper King Von. In an altercation that happened outside a nightclub in Atlanta, a fight between King Von's crew and Quando's entourage leading to the passing of King Von. Claiming he only acted in self-defense and that King Von was the aggressor, Quando was able to walk free. However, this situation already made him a target for O-Block members, but they weren't the only ones who kept their eye on him. So let me explain. Quando has made his affiliation with the Rolling 60s Crips known, and one group that didn't really like how much Quando was hanging with the Crips so much was the Hoover Criminals. Apparently, they checked Quando at the mall, but he insisted that he wasn't affiliated with the Rolling 60s, so they let him go. However, a picture later circulated online showing Quando hanging out with the Crips while throwing up gang signs. This led to rapper High Sean Martin calling him out and warning him about his affiliation.
But one thing about you, bro, when I catch you, I'm a bro. I don't give a who behind you. I see a couple of your people trying to tap in and hit me through my DMs. It's not working, bro. Just keep that same energy. You throwing up the set over there, throw it up everywhere you go.
Then, in August of 2022, while stopping at a gas station near West Hollywood, Quando Rondo was attacked by 3 unnamed assailants. While Quando was unharmed, he had a passenger with him, his cousin, and one of his closest friends, Lil Pob, who unfortunately passed away because of the attack.
Right now, the search is on for 3 people who police say at a Savannah rapper, a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the aftermath.
After this incident, Quando had a serious awakening and decided it was best to leave the streets behind after losing his best friend. Posting on his Instagram stories, Quando wrote, "My main man's gone and a lot more I'm cool on a lot. If I feel like you're not with me, there's no reason for me to be holding on to you. No need to shake your hand or fake some with you." Afterwards, there were several speculations as to who was responsible for the attack. Many pointed at O-Block, while others pointed at the Hoover Criminals. However, in October of 2024, the attack was tied to the passing of King Von, and that it was acted upon with revenge in mind. It turned out Lil Durk, one of King Von's closest friends from O-Block, as well as the most commercially successful street rapper, was behind it. He's now facing life in prison. But let's move on to Seattle rapper Lil Mosey, who got ran up on by goons himself. In this viral clip, Mosey and his crew looked like they were pressed by someone who demanded everything they had, ranging from his chains and all the jewelry they wore.
It's not like it's an issue. I'm not even tripping about none of this, bro. I'm just talking about the video. You just gotta respect that my video. That's my brothers. It's not even respect that my brothers, bro. You gotta respect that my brothers, bro. So I don't even know why you one of this. You gotta respect that all my family.
What makes this clip especially odd is that the man robbing them didn't appear to be robbed and came across as surprisingly polite while robbing them. After they were robbed, the group responsible for it proceeded to flex Lil Mosey's chain on social media when they uploaded this video.
You coming up here and gotta take the bad ones, man. These niggas everywhere on my mama. Bro, you got those from my bag, bro? I tell that bro, I tell that want your chain back 20 bands. We very
They demanded $20,000 in exchange for giving back the stolen chains. However, Mosey ignored their demands and simply let it go. Funny enough, a group of people managed to get a hold of the snatched change and took them to a jewelry store to see how much they were worth. Unfortunately for them, the chains were all fake.
What it do? Hold on, it's supposed to turn what? Ooh. Hold on, is that Hold on.
You got lights in the case, it better be real.
Oh, no. Oh.
Some believe that the reason why Mosey and his friends gave up the chains that quickly was because they knew that they weren't losing their lives over something that was actually fake. But who knows? But what about rappers who don't just confront thieves, but actually have to deal with fans turning into enemies? Well, Lil Xan felt just that. You see, Lil Xan became a lightning rod for criticism in 2018 after disrespecting Tupac Shakur in an interview, calling his music boring.
It's boring music.
This comment made him public enemy #1 for Tupac fans. But not just for Tupac fans, hip-hop fans like Michael Rappaport.
Some whack non-rapping rapper named Lil Xan, Lil Xan, some pill-popping motherfucker, face-tattooed cornball, no skill, no talent motherfucker said that Tupac's music wasn't interesting.
Rappaport would even suggest apologizing for his words, saying,
all right, and you don't need to apologize to Tupac or Tupac's fans. You need to apologize to whoever the raised you or who didn't raise you for raising you to be a dumb.
However, some of Lil Xan's friends like Trippie Redd and Lil Yachty defended him.
Personally think y'all need to get off Lil Xan's dick. That was my little dog. And I love Tupac. That was my brother's, my dead brother's favorite artist. Feel me?
Yachty would even recall speaking with Lil Xan the night before the video came out, saying,
I told him, you know, I was once in your steps and don't worry about it. You know, then I told him, I was like, yeah, you f***ed up, but like, it's gonna be all right. Yeah, basically, I was just like, yeah, you but you'll be all right.
However, not every fan can be as chilled and composed as they are. For instance, one such fan confronted Lil Xan at an LA gas station. The man taunted Xan, daring him to respond. And I'm not gonna lie, Lil Xan standing on business like that is pretty unexpected and definitely very crazy. So while some criticized Lil Xan for escalating the situation, others saw it as a necessary move to protect himself. Regardless of his opinions, the incident showed the dangers of speaking carelessly in an industry where words can have real world consequences. Years later, Lil Xan would admit that his comments were untrue and reckless in an interview with Adam 22 on No Jumper.
Obviously that was the stupidest thing. I was young when I said that. You know, I wish I could go back and redo that, but it's in the past.
But what happens when a rapper takes another rapper's lyrics as a diss? Well, that was the predicament that Lil Wayne was in. Wayne has been open and vocal about his affiliation with the Bloods for a while now, and one time, in his verse of the remix of Shawty Lowe's They Know, Lil Wayne apparently sneak dissed the Crips, saying, ha, Suwoo gang, and if you ain't with it, then you ain't in the food chain. Or at least that's what the Crips member and rapper Spider Lock thought.
And me just, you know, metaphor, rap, MC, knowing that he's pushing affiliation, and then he's separating those that's affiliated with Suwoo Game and calling them food chain. Food chain, I'm thinking about school, the ocean, and you know what you find in the ocean. I thought he was sneak dissing.
That said, given the subtle nature of Lil Wayne's line, Spider Lock contemplated a lot about whether it was truly a diss or not, or if he was just reaching. He said that if given the opportunity, he would directly ask Wayne what he meant by the line.
So I was thinking that Lil Wayne, out of town, not really from here, was like being a little too slick, and just wanted to be able to ask him man to man if that's what he intended. Was that so he could at least tell me I was, you know, reaching or thinking to in it. I just wanted to know if he was really standing on that Suwoo gang.
And as fate would have it, Lil Wayne ended up shooting a video with T-Pain on a property in North Hollywood where Spider Lock's studio was also located. So with the question still lingering in his mind, Spider Lock pulled up to the video shoot to talk to Lil Wayne. However, instead of getting the chance to meet with Lil Wayne one-on-one, he ended up facing Cash Money security. So, in an effort to trap Wayne, believing he was in one of the black SUVs, Spider Lock and his goons surrounded the van.
It's a Crip. Food chain.
Obviously, with the Cash Money security there was no way Spider Lock would have ever gotten the chance to face Lil Wayne, especially since he pulled up with a couple of his own crew. Later, Spider found out that Wayne wasn't even in the van they surrounded, so their intimidation tactics and chance were all for nothing.
And then come to find out, Lil Wayne was actually still down the street at the video set location. They using their phones a lot, hear sirens, we got on the bottom there, we was live. That's basically what shit, man, you know what I'm saying?
But before they could do anything about that, Spider Lock and his goons heard police sirens in the distance, prompting them to bolt out of there fast.
I think we heard one siren off in the distance, and that's all it took. We was out of there.
In the end, Spider never got the chance to face Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne came out unscathed. But that wasn't the only time Lil Wayne had to deal with a particular Crips member. In this next incident, the Crips member did get a chance to say his piece to Wayne's face. However, it didn't go far as it was immediately barred by security from going further.
G, close that door, G. Hey, Wayne. What's up, I'm Big Magic, cuz. What's happening? Come on.
You see, Lil Wayne was leaving a club in LA, and this Crips member thought it would be a good idea to wait outside the club to tell Lil Wayne to check in with the Crips.
You better check in, Magic, nigga. I say I'm gangster. Crip. Straight up, nigga. Crip. Straight up, nigga. Crip. Shoot, nigga. Crip.
Unfortunately, he just looked a bit foolish, so the incident was a bit more goofy than threatening at the end of the day. Now, let's wind the clocks back a bit and talk about a rapper who rose to fame in the 90s, MC Hammer. Known for his flamboyant appearance and flashy dance moves, MC Hammer wasn't the type of rapper you'd associate with the gang lifestyle. His music and style was more commercial. That said, those who know Hammer know that there's more to him than glossy, baggy pants. MC Hammer's tough reputation started circling in the hip-hop community years ago. However, very few people believe this, and one of those people was Michael Concepcion, one of the founding fathers of the LA Crips. Michael got involved in a gang altercation, resulting in him losing the ability to use his legs, and he's been in a wheelchair ever since, and has remained one of the most respected and feared figures in the LA streets. So it's surprising to learn that someone as feared as him failed to get MC Hammer to cooperate with him. The story was told by one of Hammer's vocalists, Benito, and he explained how Michael tried to get MC Hammer to check in when he was in LA. While leaving a function in Hollywood, Hammer and his crew were on their way to get their vehicles to the hotel when they saw someone in a wheelchair surrounded by multiple goons.
We get out there, it's this dude in his wheelchair and about 4 or 5 dudes with him, hanging out. I know they Crips because my cousins all Crips in LA. So I'm like, that's some gangbangers. What they doing out here?
It was here that Michael told Hammer that he should check in with him for protection.
Basically, he came with Hammer like, hey man, in this LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. I'm saying, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there. And 4 or 5 of them straight. You know what I'm saying? So, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I don't need no protection.
Michael then insinuated that if Hammer didn't check in with him, something bad just might happen to him, which Hammer saw as an indirect threat.
He said, man, I ain't studying. They said, no, for real though, man. You need to holler at me, man. If you don't, something could happen to you, whatever. He said, what you trying to say? He said, you need to go ahead and, take care of that and everything will be cool. He said, you trying to start strangling on me, nigga?
And things started getting heated after this. According to Benito, Michael's goons started pulling out their whip, and so did Hammer's crew. But then, before things would get more heated, Hammer simply said this.
Hey, what's up? He said, hey man, it's like this. I'll make one phone call, and all this will go away. I'm through with it. Let's go. Load up, everybody.
And so they left. The next morning, Michael was waiting at the lobby where Hammer was staying at, and asked to speak with him one more time. When they talked, this is what the OG Crips said to the "You Can't Touch This" rapper.
Touch you for a minute, man. Oh, man, hey, bro, I apologize, man. Hey, man, let me talk to you for a minute. And I said, what's up, man? I said, man, I apologize for the thing. I didn't know, the people you knew or whatever, this and that. And I apologize for what I did, brother. It's all good. We cool. We good. And Hammer's like, yeah, it's all right.
See, what Michael didn't know was that MC Hammer was close with Big West, another OG Crip, and someone that had an influence on LA gangs just like Michael, if not more, as he did get Michael to apologize to MC Hammer. And so, after that, Michael nor the Crips ever bothered MC Hammer again. Not too shabby for the rapper who rapped in Speedos and parachute pants, huh? So it looks like the goons in Virginia really love Trey Songz. But as unhinged as some of these goons can be, not all of them are deadly encounters. Sometimes, they're just highly inconvenient. Or they come in the form of fans who just don't know the meaning of boundaries. Take for example what happened to old school hip hop legend T.I. when he was approached by a fan while he was filling up his car at a gas station. The fan wanted to get a picture with T.I., which he didn't mind, of course. However, this fan kept pushing it with the rapper. He took way too long with the pictures, he took way too many, and he started to get way too comfortable.
Good to see you, baby.
What's up, Tim?
How many you gonna take?
You know how many you gonna take? He finna do it. He finna do it.
You a grown ass man. Goddamn selfish, you gonna take. 2, 3, 4. Nah, you took 6.
T.I. wasn't even being mean to the guy. He approached things lightheartedly while still letting the fan know that he was taking way too long and that T.I. was starting to get uncomfortable with him being all invasive and comfortable.
Cool.
Yeah, let
him get space. Yeah.
I don't even know you though.
Yeah.
So then let me get my personal space.
After T.I. explained why he was starting to get uncomfortable with the guy, he didn't even apologize. Instead, he accused T.I. of being on that gangster shit.
Everybody gotta have their personal space.
Yeah, but you don't know me like that. My nigga, somebody kicking no gangster shit, kicking some real nigga, but you standing all close to me, man, leaning on my truck and shit, you getting way too comfortable.
I don't know if it's just me, but T.I. sounded like he's rapping at the end there. But thankfully for this invasive goon here, T.I. remained cool and considerate, as not every rapper would have been as kind with them as T.I. was. But sometimes, rappers aren't even the only ones getting checked. There are also cases of them doing the checking as well. They've even called out radio hosts like Charlamagne the God. For example, the time when Master P was a guest on The Breakfast Club. At first, the interview went well. However, in true Charlamagne the God fashion, he brought up a rapper who was signed to Master P and started to disrespect her, saying,
Your projects, y'all was dropping. It was a time when No Limit was dropping every week. It was a No Limit product in stores every week. Except for Mercedes, we never saw that, and I always wanted to see that because she had a fat ass.
Charlamagne thought that he could get away with a joke like that. However, Master P didn't let it go and wanted to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, bro, hold up, man. Don't talk about Mercedes.
Oh,
like
my bad.
that.
I ain't know she
That's
family.
so disrespectful.
Nah, she ain't family, but still though, with all my people, man, you know how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we good, man. Ain't no, you know what I'm saying? You know.
It's normal to get checked for being disrespectful to other artists, and Charlamagne expressed his regret for bringing up the topic and saying such a distasteful joke. He tried to ease the conversation by talking about something else.
You setting it up though for promotion-wise?
What you mean setting?
Because it was dropping. They were dropping every week. So how was people able to know? Okay, unless you was going to the record store.
But Master P felt like Charlamagne's disrespect was too far too much to let go that easily. So he checked him and said this.
Let's go back to this, dog.
Okay.
Let's respect, because I'm not gonna talk about your sister, your mama. Nothing.
Got you.
You know, we need to. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the first thing, because I know you do your radio thing, and I respect that. But at the same time, Mercedes she a female.
It's not often you see Charlamagne being put in his place like this, but honestly, it's a bit refreshing to see knowing his antics.
Oh, my fault. Yeah, you right. But she did look good on that cover though.
Yeah, she look good. That's your opinion. But you know, it's about that's Zay's beat right there.
After that, he explained to Charlamagne that respect goes a long way in hip hop.
Like I said, man, it's about respect. Charlamagne, you know me and you go back.
Absolutely.
So it's about, you know, when we talk about women, I know I don't care. I ain't gonna disrespect no because of nothing, because I don't do that. I'm a man, and I don't want nobody to disrespect no people that I know. You know what I'm saying?
Now, let's move on to the legendary hip-hop figure who checked his op, only to end up getting checked as a retaliation on the very same night. You see, Tupac always made sure to stand on business, but on the night of September 7th, 1996, standing on business ended up being his worst mistake. To set the stage, he and his crew just finished watching Mike Tyson. So, after the fight, they allegedly saw someone familiar in the area, a well-known member of the Southside Crips named Baby Lane, aka Orlando Anderson. But this wasn't just a random Crip member. Word on the street was that Anderson snatched a death row chain off of one of Suge Knight's affiliates. Because of that, Pac, along with Suge, wanted to check him then and there. And when they finally got to him, that's when all hell broke loose. Even though it looked like Tupac and his crew won the fight after they piled on Anderson, in reality, this mistake was going to bite him back later that night. You see, Orlando Anderson wasn't just any other Crip member. He was a member of the Southside Crips, who already had a rocky history with Suge Knight and Death Row Records. So, Pac's decision to give him the beats was really the nail in the coffin. As we all know, literally. You see, after the altercation, Pac made himself the #1 target. After all, they weren't gonna let him embarrass the Southside Crip in public and in their own territory. Furthermore, they saw this decision to humiliate one of their own as a declaration of war. And knowing Anderson's history of chain snatching from death row, tensions were at an all-time high. So, following the brawl at MGM, Tupac jumped into Suge Knight's BMW, and the two felt invincible. I mean, why wouldn't they be? The two, along with their crew, just punked a gang member in his own city with no repercussions, at least not yet. And while together with the Death Row Records mogul, Tupac celebrated their victory, blasting music and laughing like the night was theirs. But things would go south sooner than later. Hours later, when they pulled up near an intersection, a white Cadillac slowly rolled up beside them. And after a few seconds, tools were fired, if you catch my drift. Unfortunately, Tupac got injured. Suge, seeing what happened to Tupac, drove away after being grazed, but it was far too late. After immediately going to a hospital, the medical team tried their best to keep the rap legend alive. However, it wasn't enough. It was so bad, in fact, that saying he was in critical condition would have been an understatement, literally. He was in a really rough shape, but luckily, he was able to fight for a week. And despite the continued efforts to try and save him, things were looking grim. Everyone in the room knew that it was futile. The doctors also informed Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mom, that even if he survived the ordeal, he'd probably lose his voice and never rap again in his life. So she allegedly made the difficult decision and pulled the plug to let him go peacefully. It's also thought that his quality of life would have been horrible, so many believe that he would have rather just passed. But that wasn't the first time that some goons checked him. 2 years before he was taken out, Pac had another incident back in 1994. See, what was supposed to be a pretty normal and routine recording session at the Quad Studios in Manhattan turned ugly. You could even say that this was the very moment that was the spark that ignited the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry, forever shaping the course of hip-hop history. That's how impactful it was. But what exactly happened that night? Well, before that, we have to first talk about the relationship between Pac and Biggie, because trust me, this is going to be really important later down the line. So, Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. had a very close relationship with each other. Pac also took Biggie under his wing and showed him the ropes of how the industry worked. In the early 90s, the two shared mutual respect, with Biggie even looking up to Pac, who welcomed him into his home and let him crash there. So far so good, right? However, their friendship soon turned sour and took a turn for the worse following the events of 1994. You see, when Tupac was invited by Biggie and Diddy to hit up the recording booth with them at the Quad, he was down to do so. After all, this happened before the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. They were still on good terms with each other. He was more than happy to work with his friend, but once he entered the lobby, something horrible happened to him. You see, just a few seconds after he entered the building, two masked men pulled up on him and demanded everything he had. This meant that the situation turned into a full-blown robbery all of a sudden. Unfortunately, he stood on business and refused to give them anything, so what did the robbers do? They tried to take his life. Well, I'm not going to go into details, but Tupac almost lost his life. Luckily for him, he managed to survive the encounter, and instead of calling for the ambulance, he felt like there was foul play behind the robbery. According to Pac, it looked far too organized for a random robbery, and given how polarizing of a figure he was during those times, he pieced 2 and 2 together and came up with this conclusion, and that was that this was definitely a setup. Worst of all, the ones responsible for it were in the same studio as him, waiting upstairs for news about his demise. So Tupac, rather than going to the hospital, went straight to the elevator to confront the people that he felt were responsible for the botched robbery. And despite all the injuries he sustained, he still walked into the studio only to see Biggie and Puff with shocked expressions on their faces. But most importantly, he recognized the look of guilt from Biggie, someone he once considered a friend. After that, the friendship the two had soured to the point of no return. Starting from that night, he saw Bad Boy Records, Diddy, and everyone else associated with them as the enemy. So that's why people believe that this Quad Studios altercation was the fuse that lit the East Coast versus West Coast beef. However, it actually gets worse from there. I know. Of course, Biggie's decision to drop a song called Who You Ya 3 months after Pac was in Manhattan only took the situation to the point of no return. This led to others, and even Tupac, believing that this was an admission by Biggie that he was one of the people who set him up. Furthermore, if you listen to the track, Biggie seemed to reference what happened at the Quad Studios in the very first verse, where he rapped, "Who gotcha? Separate the weak from the obsolete, hard to creep them Brooklyn streets, it's on, man, F all that bickering beef." Tupac believed that this was Biggie's way of taunting him. So what does he do next? He responded by releasing the now classic diss track, Hit 'Em Up, and made sure the whole world heard his response. In the song's introduction, he made a not so subtle jab at Biggie saying, "That's why I mess with your girl," basically claiming that he smashed Faith Evans, Biggie's wife. If you think that's scalding, wait until you hear what he rapped about on the first verse. In the first line, Tupac began by dissing everyone close to Biggie, like his wife and the entirety of his clique, which was of course Bad Boy Records. First of all, screw your girl and the clique you claim, West Side when we ride, come equipped with game. Then he doubled down on the allegations that he and Faith had a sexual encounter behind Biggie's back. You claim to be a player, but I mess with your wife, we bust on Bad Boys, y'all mess for life. So after threatening Bad Boy Records, he directly name-dropped Puff or Diddy, saying, "Plus, Puff, you trying to see me, weak heart side rip," claiming that Diddy showed no remorse once he found out that he got, which solidified Tupac's belief that him and his crew set it up. But he wasn't done, because he proceeded to name-drop Biggie and call him and the group that he formed a pretty derogatory name, to put it lightly. Biggie Smalls and Junior Mafia, I can't really say it on YouTube, but you get the idea. Now, let's talk about Slick Rick, a rapper and producer who rose to fame in the mid-1980s. And here's a fun fact. Although you may not know him, he was so influential to hip-hop that he not only directly inspired the fashion sense of rappers like Jay-Z, Nas, and Biggie, but his music has also been sampled by Eminem, Beyonce, Snoop Dogg, Missy Elliott, and many more. So why is he on this list? Well, it's because he was checked by his own cousin, who he ironically hired to protect his life at first. See, in 1989, he and his mother decided that it would be a good decision to hire Slick Rick's first cousin, Mark Plummer, as their bodyguard. But after only a year, his cousin showed himself to be incompetent and awful at his job. He was so bad, in fact, that he allegedly became a liability. And it gets way worse, because this decision to hire him had dire consequences. Not only was his cousin a freeloader, he also tried to extort money from Slick and his mother. Talk about ungrateful. As a result, his contract was immediately terminated and he was fired shortly after. However, Mark was actually content with being fired at first, but when he saw how little his severance package was, that's when the situation got out of hand. You see, he felt as though that he wasn't being compensated enough. So the next course of action in his mind was to threaten both Slick Rick and his mother. And guess what happened? The situation took an even worse turn when he allegedly sent home some of his goons to check Rick. This resulted in the goons trying to rob him. But instead of giving them what they wanted, Slick Rick refused to cooperate, which made them threaten his family instead. Sometime later, Rick began to notice that there were some holes in his front door. Because of that, he began to collect tools, believing that he could only protect himself through self-defense. Tensions were already high, and he was prepared to do whatever it took to protect his family. So when the word spread that Mark was back in the neighborhood, he got in his car with his pregnant wife and set out to track him down. From Slick Rick's point of view, he wanted to check his cousin before Mark had the chance to turn his threats into a reality. So when he finally found him, he went off. Tragically, Mark failed to get the job done and even accidentally hurt an innocent passerby. But you know what's really tragic? Unfortunately, a police officer nearby saw the whole commotion as a car chase ensued. And here's where things get way worse. While on the road, Rick got into a car accident. So of course, he was eventually caught and had to plead guilty. A year later, his cousin and ex-bodyguard, Mark, well, he was eventually taken out. And if there's someone who hates gang violence and gang culture in the present day, it's Charleston White, one of the most controversial figures in hip-hop. Now, while Charleston is more of an actor and an internet personality than a rapper, he has released a few songs in the last couple of years, and he's so ingrained in the world of hip-hop that many consider him a member of it. You see, Charleston White is the type of person who refuses to mumble his words. He never holds back when it comes to voicing out his opinions, which is why he has as many haters as he does admirers. Charleston White is famously highly against the many aspects of hip-hop that many have learned to accept, such as the idea of checking in, as well as street culture as a whole. In fact, he once said that Los Angeles, a city known for its heavy check-in culture, is responsible for the passing of more rappers than any other city in the US.
Well, there's a lot of people that have been popping up saying that, you know, rappers should check in.
LA done more rappers than any city in America. LA is known for rappers.
He also said that this has been going on for a very long time, which is most likely why it is such a normalized practice now. And whether or not the stat is true, Charleston does have a point. Many of hip-hop's greatest names have lost their lives in LA. And not only that, he also said that black men in California, those who are exerting control and holding power, are no better than the white men who have kept the institutional racism in place for generations.
I'm a black man in America, and I swear up and down as a black man that the white man is holding me down. His systematic institutional racism is keeping me down. When I flip the coin over, I got a doing the same thing to me. I got a saying, if I come to this white man's city that he live in, I gotta come check in with these people.
He's actively called for the passing of everyone in the streets. It's not surprising to know that he's made a lot of enemies over the years. He's attacked almost every major gang that has ties to hip-hop, and because of that, Charleston has been attacked multiple times in the past. While in Dallas, he found himself surrounded by a couple of goons at a gas station. While he did engage with them for a bit, he eventually called the cops and let them handle the situation.
He put the gun in the car, a silver gun. He gave it to one of them. He had me surrounded with his gang buddies. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Police.
So while some may say he snitched, which he did, in fairness to him, at least we know he's a man of his word. That's just one example of how rappers navigate danger in the industry. If you're not familiar with Shaquille O'Neal, well, he actually tried rapping back in the day. He might be a DJ nowadays, or a meme for his tenure at the Boston Celtics, but Shaquille O'Neal is undoubtedly one of the most dominant NBA players to ever step on a court. But of course, he didn't just conquer the NBA, he dipped his toes into the rap world as well. You see, back in the 90s, Shaq tried to rap, releasing albums that garnered moderate success. However, he didn't really need to rap for the money since his basketball career flourished, especially after signing a $120 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers in 1996.
We're breaking into programming right now to bring you a live news conference about to take place in Atlanta, at which Shaquille O'Neal is expected to announce that he has signed a 7-year, $120 million contract to join the LA Lakers.
So Shaq's name became synonymous with dominance both on and off the court.
You haven't figured it out yet. I've signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. And keep in mind the word change to me.
But what most people don't know is that during his time in LA, Shaq's off-court activities intertwined with the mainstream mafia Crips, one of South Central LA's most infamous gangs. The mainstream mafia Crips weren't just about politics, as they were deeply connected to the entertainment industry. One of the high-ranking members, Ladell Roells, better known as Del Dog, had ties to big names in the hip-hop scene like Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, and even Steve Harvey. DaBaby wasn't just a gang leader, he was a businessman.
You go to a guy like Dale when you got a problem and say, look, man, I'm having a problem. I can't get this done because this guy's over here doing this. I can't get this done because that guy's doing that.
And at first, Shaq and DaBaby formed a tight bond, with Shaq gaining street credibility and protection, while mainstream profited through business connections. For a while, their relationship worked flawlessly, but things took a darker turn when Shaq's record label, Deja 34, became entangled in a dispute with Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, another member of mainstream mafia. Stutterbox claimed that he was responsible for bringing the deal to artists like Ray J to Shaq's label, only to be cut out of his promised 50% profit share. So now, Stutta wanted what was rightfully his, and he was going to take it. However, what many people don't actually believe was that Shaq had ties with LA gangs back in the day. It would only be confirmed by Reggie Wright Jr., a former Compton police officer and later head of security for Death Row Records, that the NBA superstar did have his run-ins with them.
Shaq got up under the main streets and was cool with him. And he mainly got cool with this dude Stutterbox. Stutterbox is very respected, or was very respected out here in LA.
Alright, so back to the story. Stutterbox felt betrayed, so he decided to target Shaq's personal life.
Stutterbox, for some reason, felt he was owed more by Shaquille O'Neal. He took, as I remember, the number was either $300,000 or $400,000. Forget what it was.
In 2007, he claimed to have shocking footage of Shaq cheating on his wife at the time, Johnny, at his house. So he threatened to release the tape unless Shaq paid him.
Well, he allegedly had a picture, no, not a picture, a tape, video tape of him, I heard, sticking his fist up. Shaq's wife, I don't want to say her name because I like her and I know she's doing good things out there.
But this wasn't just a bluff. Stutterbox had surveillance cameras around his home, and while the tapes might not exist anymore, the threat was enough to cause chaos.
I'm going to expose your wife if you don't pay me X amount of dollars. So Shaq is like devastated, like this. So now he goes and talk to other guys that's involved in Main Street.
And what did Shaq do? He went and complained to DaBaby and other Main Street members. Unfortunately, things were about to get even darker for the people involved. You see, in February of 2008, DaBaby and other Main Street members cornered Stutterbox at a Pink Dot convenience store in Hollywood. They forced him into his Rolls Royce, drove him to DaBaby's house, and demanded $100,000 along with the alleged tapes. Stutterbox was given a case of the beats, and they took his Rolex, diamond chain, earrings, and over $100,000 in cash before being released. After the attack, Stutterbox went straight to the police, spilling every detail. But he didn't stop there. He accused Shaq of planning the whole thing, saying that the NBA star had asked the gang for multiple favors in the past, including targeting his ops, and even allegedly asking them to do something to an NBA player's shooting arm. I'm just gonna let you take a wild guess on what he has to do. Moreover, Stutterbox portrayed Shaq as a manipulative star who used the mainstream mafia to handle his own dirty work. However, when this came to light, Shaq denied everything. He insisted he barely knew DaBaby and other mainstream members aside from community events like toy drives. However, FBI wiretaps said differently, and there were conversations recorded between DaBaby and Mark around that time. But Stutterbox's credibility took a hit when he admitted during the investigation that the tape he had threatened Shaq with never existed. The security system at his home only recorded in cycles, meaning any evidence he once claimed to have was long gone. So, the defense lawyers for DaBaby and his associates wasted no time attacking Stutterbox's credibility in court. They showed his long list of criminal records and his lies about the tape, showing the people that he wasn't really the type of guy you trust. Ultimately, DaBaby and the other accused mainstream members were found not guilty of all charges. Unfortunately, Stutterbox's beef with Shaq didn't end there. In 2011, he filed a lawsuit against Shaq, alleging a breach of oral contract and claiming Shaq was behind everything, and, once again, the case was dismissed. You see, when a rapper visits a different city or state, some say they are required to check in, as we've spoken about earlier in this video. And one of those cities is Detroit, who has long upheld a strict check-in policy for visiting artists, which was enforced by the local legend Trick Trick. But what happens when you don't do so? Well, just ask Rick Ross. You see, there's an unspoken rule that has left many rappers regretting their visits, and Rick Ross himself found himself in a heated confrontation with Trick Trick's no-fly zone policy. You see, Rick Ross was supposed to perform in Detroit, but after not checking in, he was met by a group of 100 men who blocked his entry.
We have Rick Ross right outside here tonight at about 11 o'clock. When he was pulling up to come into Shane Park, he was met by 100 individuals outside.
According to Trick, he just wanted an artist to contribute to Detroit's local music scene instead of profiting off the city without giving back.
We have tried to pull every resource together and ask him to come back. He is in fear of his life.
Despite attempts to negotiate, Ross left in fear for his safety. Later, when Trick sat down with Drink Champs, he offered a raw explanation of the infamous no-fly zone policy. He explained that his policy is a concept that's both respected and feared in hip-hop circles. As he explained, the policy wasn't about petty intimidation or random power plays. Instead, it was about justice and preserving his community, and addressing the exploitation of Detroit's local artists by major record labels and outsiders.
Let me ask you, Trick, because I don't understand, what is the no-fly zone? What does that mean? Because I mean, I've come to Detroit and had marvelous times.
We shot movies together in Detroit.
So, but what is this no-fly zone?
He began by explaining,
when record labels used to have like street teams, and that was back in the A&R days. You know, they would have a promo team, take the artists, you know, A&R take the artists to different locations, and it was like they were just coming to Detroit and wasn't picking up nothing.
These teams would bring artists into cities like Detroit for promotions, performances, and radio appearances, but there was a catch. Detroit's local artists, who were often struggling to make a name for themselves, were the ones being charged heavy fees to perform at these events. Even worse, those same local artists were the ones drawing large crowds. So Trick had a point. Why should the local artists be the ones obliged to pay?
They would charge the local artists to perform. They would charge the local artists to perform, and the local artists would bring 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 people sometimes to this event that will pay to get in. It's like, how is you charging them and they bringing you revenue?
However, it wasn't just about the money. Radio and other large events often excluded Detroit entirely. For Trick, this blatant disregard for Detroit's talent and culture was unacceptable, and it had to stop. So what was his solution?
When it kept happening with the little homies and they was just doing it because they got money, like, you know, that, man.
Meaning paying to get on
it was just so much.
Their own stage, technically.
Exactly. And it was radio as well. Like, you know, the Summer Jams events didn't consist of mostly Detroit artists.
He decided it was time to draw a line. Keep in mind that this wasn't about shutting the doors on other artists. It was about creating balance and ensuring that their local artists were respected and paid in their own city, not the other way around.
They consist of everybody from everywhere else, and the Detroit artists would get charged.
Wow.
And I was like, that. Stop everything. Wow. Now the only entertainment around this gonna be what's here.
Right.
So we're gonna get acquainted with what we got around these corners.
Slowly, he allowed non-local acts to return, but only on his terms that respected the community.
And then we'll start letting a few trinklets in one at a time. And if anybody violated, we'll deal with that accordingly, you know.
Another rapper who had an incident with a random fan is Playboi Carti. This guy suddenly approached Carti from out of nowhere and started calling him names, hurling insults at him, and being angry from the get-go. Seeing that Carti's hands were placed behind him, so he told him to put his tool down and use his hands.
Pussy, you a pussy. You go ahead. What you gonna me pulling out the phone for? Cause you reaching, bitch. You reaching. I don't know you. Yo, now you wanna talk? What you mean? Put the pistol down. Put the pistol down and fight me.
Apparently, this guy was angry at Carti because the rapper allegedly put hands on his sister, which explains his aggravated behavior. Carti denied the accusation completely.
Hey, you put your hands on my sister again, boy. Ain't nobody putting on this shit. I'm gonna kill you.
And the man kept telling Carti to put his tool away, so he obliged.
What your hands like? What your hands like? Now, what y'all wanna do? Put the phone out. Hey, give me the phone.
And while we don't see what exactly happens, we clearly hear a sound of a very, very loud clap. And according to a tweet Carti put out later on, he did indeed give this guy the beats, saying, bro out, he was being too crazy. Carti typed eloquently. So in this case, this fan / goon was asking for a fight, and he got one, albeit a very one-sided one. Now let's move on to another rapper who also had to deal with a group of goons, Waka Flocka. While Waka was shooting a music video with Gucci Mane in Atlanta, all of a sudden, a group of gangbangers ambushed the set. Apparently, one of them had a problem with Waka being in their hood due to a previous incident.
What's happening? I'm here, what's happening? I'm here, bro. I'm not studying. I'm Gucci, you cool. We talking about Doom. He came with us on.
When the Crips tried to push things further while shouting, "I'm the one that beat you," Waka got heated up as well, leading to things getting even worse. And it looked like it was about to get physical from there.
I don't want to hear that, nigga. I'm the one that beat you. I'm the one that beat you, nigga. Yeah, I'm the one that beat you. You know what I'm saying? These go west side to the bullet, nigga. It's square, buddy. What's happening? Either you gonna do it like these niggas gonna do it like.
Fortunately for everyone, things didn't escalate further. The Crips left while giving Waka 24 hours to get out of their hood. So yeah, they really didn't want him there. As it turned out, these guys belonged to a group called the Congressmen. While it was initially believed that they were members of the Crips, One of their members denied that they were affiliated with the gang. Asked to why they attacked Waka that day, he simply said, Waka is not from Atlanta period, he's from the country outside of Monroe. And if that's truly the reason why they attacked Waka, that doesn't add up because they said they were cool with Gucci Mane. And both Gucci Mane and Waka Flocka are from Atlanta. So there was clearly something more here. We just probably will never know. Now this next rapper who hails from Chicago, FBG Cash, took a calculated risk when he visited King Von's mural in 2020 to snap pictures. And what seemed like a publicity stunt quickly became a declaration of war. During a No Jumper interview, Cash openly bragged about his actions, implying he was untouchable. According to Cash, it was something he had with Lil Durk that caused him to make that daring move.
What was what kind of conversation were you having before he told you to go take this photo?
Go over there and do that and see what happened to you. I'm outside right now.
You hit him up?
Yeah.
But in the streets, especially in Chicago, such moves come with a hefty price. In a different interview, Cash clarified that it was Lil Durk's idea for him to take that photo, saying,
You take the picture in front of O-Block, in front of the King Von mural.
Mm-hmm.
So what was going on with all that?
Dirk told me to do that.
Dirk told you to do that?
Yeah, she texted me, shit. Told me I was cool. I went and took the picture, I left.
Lil Durk responded through his music, delivering a chilling warning in his track, Computer Murders, where he rapped, how you let a guy vouch for you who just got out the feds, P-word, sneaking pics by Von's mural like Lil Bro won't come out and spin, bop. And just 3 months later, in June of 2022, those words became prophecy.
Well-known Chicago area rapper was killed in a drive-by shooting early this morning in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood. 31-year-old Tristan Hamilton was shot multiple times. According to the Sun-Times, he raps under the name FBG Cash.
FBG Cash was down in a drive-by, and reports even say that Cash tried to fight back.
And it is believed Hamilton fired back at the shooter. Police don't have anyone in custody, at least not yet.
Unfortunately, his name was added to the list of rappers whose boldness met fatal consequences.
Police say he was driving near 81st and Ashland when the shooting occurred. A 29-year-old woman who was asleep in the car was seriously wounded.
On the other hand, not all of the chaos stayed in Chirac. For instance, there's also a war in the Bronx, and Raw G's name echoed through it all as someone who thrived on provoking his rivals, particularly K-Flock and his crew. His Instagram lives were filled with trash talk and threats, daring his enemies to make a move.
What you say? Why you jacking me in my stomach?
But when K-Flock caught him slipping, Raw froze. A very different demeanor than his online persona.
Look at this long They know what I do. Bro, day, bitch, I'm trying to spend. Look how comfortable I am on this block. That nigga all in there.
However, Raw G's would argue online that he didn't even see K-Flock outside, stating,
It's not playing, come right back. Outside right now as we speak. You coming through hard and on live, blocking niggas off your lives so they can't see you.
Furthermore, the tension escalated in July of 2021 as Raw G's continued to mock his ops. However, just hours after dissing a recently passed away op, Raw became a massive target. As he stepped into an Uber, 2 assailants on scooters ambushed him. Unfortunately, the entire incident was even caught on dashcam, with the footage quickly spreading across social media. His passing became a turning point in the Bronx gang beef. This next story is a tale of 2 friends who got into a fight. And although you might think it's normal for friends to fight, in this case, their fights might be a lot different from the usual ones. You see, because Bankroll Fresh's story is a prime example of how even your past friends can be the ones who cause your passing. You see, Bankroll was close friends with fellow Atlanta rapper No Plug back in the day. However, the relationship started to fall out over petty issues, and just like that, everything suddenly turned to violence. And their beef reached its boiling point on March 4th, 2016, outside an Atlanta studio.
Okay, so explain that.
Like explain our friendship?
Yeah, like when did y'all meet and how close was the friendship?
Okay, well we met like when we was probably like...
Fresh, still heated from an earlier altercation, confronted No Plug.
So I turned around trying to, I was finna leave. He tried to mush me. When he tried to mush me, I just grabbed him, you know what I'm saying? Like grabbed him.
Finally, all bets were off and fists were being thrown left and right. And when the fighting didn't stop, both sides drew their tools. Unfortunately, Bankroll Fresh was fatally injured, and his life was ended at just 28 years old. During an interview, later, No Plug claimed that he was just protecting himself and that he was basically acting in self-defense, but the streets weren't convinced. Now, one rapper who definitely didn't get out of a situation with his goons scot-free was 6ix9ine. Due to his nature and reputation as a rat and a snitch, 6ix9ine is one of the most hated figures in hip-hop today, if not of all time. Ever since 6ix9ine snitched on his gang in 2019, several gang members have had it out for him. 6ix9ine thought it would be a good idea to work out at LA Fitness in Florida, and a group of goons immediately recognized him. And while 6ix9ine was in the bathroom, 3 men gave him the beats. It was later found out that 6ix9ine's attackers were 3 members of the Latin Kings gang, who have good relations with the Bloods, the gang 6ix9ine snitched on. Stitches really get stitches, huh? Later, the attack's motivation was confirmed by the officers who arrested the attackers. The Bloods and the Latin Kings do have a rich history of being allies. The 2 gangs are part of a larger allegiance, the People Nation. Just because they are from different gangs or different sets or cliques doesn't mean they don't work together. Afterwards, 6ix9ine had to be sent to the hospital after the attack. A couple weeks after that, he hopped on NBC to talk about it, where he called his attackers cowardly and opportunistic.
I think it was cowardly. I think it was opportunistic. But again, I'm not mad because I know that in the street, there's no rules.
I don't know, not snitching definitely seems like it's a rule and one that'll follow 6ix9ine for years to come. In fact, just a few months after that incident, 6ix9ine was once again attacked for being a rat, but fortunately only verbally this time. While driving in the streets of Brooklyn, a random goon pulled up next to 6ix9ine and started yelling insults at him. 6ix9ine also posted his own video urging the man to step out of his vehicle so that they could move this argument to a more physical standpoint.
Move on me. Get out the car and move on me. Get out the car and move on me.
However, neither of them really bothered to step out of their respective vehicles, and they just continued to hurl insults at each other from the safety of their own cars. So clearly, over the many years, 6ix9ine has made a lot of enemies. Just like 6ix9ine, this next rapper also had a reputation for being overly disrespectful. Jake Jit was a rapper affiliated with Fulio's KTA crew and made waves by disrespecting his rivals, which is a pretty common theme in street rap. You see, he mocked fallen members of rival rapper Young and Ace's crew, including Royale D. Smith Jr., who passed away in a 2018 altercation, and Jake was also affiliated with Fulio's gang. So things were finally heating up, and Jake's connection to Fulio put him in the middle of it all. But to understand why Jake's life ended in violence, we have to first understand the deeply rooted feuds around Jacksonville. You see, before Young and Ace started beefing with Jake, he already had been beefing with Fulio, and their beef escalated further after a 2018 altercation that left Ace injured and his close friend, also known as 23. So what did Fulio, Jake Jit, and his crew do? They yet again mocked the passed away friend in a diss track. And to make things even worse, Jake even went to visit the Op's grave, a move that would not only shock the city, but the entire hip hop scene. On the other hand, Jake became active in these street wars, appearing on tracks like F the Ops, where he dissed 23 and other fallen ops, adding fuel to the already burning gang war. However, Jake's closeness with Fulio wasn't his only problem. Wappa with the Choppa, a rapper close to Ace, clapped back at Jake with the song Rap, dismissing him as just another name to be soon added to their scoreboard. So Jake's affiliations and disses didn't just bring him enemies from rival crews, they also created internal issues within his circle. And just a week after dropping his debut mixtape, Jake's life was tragically cut short. He'd been driving through Duval County when someone rolled up beside him and Jake, according to sources, he tried his best to escape. However, things were already out of control and his fate was sealed. Veterans faced similar struggles back in the day as well. Bizzy Bone from the legendary Bone Thugs and Harmony experienced a horrifying betrayal in January of 2009. While staying at the Universal City Hilton near Universal Studios Hollywood, Bizzy decided to grab a drink at Saddle Ranch, a lively restaurant and bar.
Here at the Universal City Hilton last January, he leads 3 other Crip gangsters up to room 1165. That's where rap star Brian Bizzy Bone McCain is staying.
That night, 2 women approached him. One started a friendly conversation, while the other kept stepping out of sight to take phone calls.
I really didn't peep it, but I know now. One of them bitches was on the phone, like the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, just whispering on the phone or whatnot, right? I know what y'all thinking.
They later headed back to Bizzy's hotel room to keep the party going. However, it wasn't what Bizzy thought.
And he's wearing an estimated $35,000 worth of jewelry. Tipped off by 2 young women partying with Bizzy Bone, Bow Wow and his Crip homies are here to steal Bizzy's bling. They do.
Later, he recalled what happened in the video. According to him, he fell asleep during the time the girls were there.
I pass out. Like I'm dead motherfucking asleep, right? So I say I started feeling something around my neck.
However, everything took a darker turn when he felt something around his neck.
Like something like me. So I jumped up and I was in a room full of motherfucking people. And I'm like, oh, like a room full of people. So I get my I'm getting my way out of that motherfucker. I get out the door. It's like 5 motherfuckers, right?
You see, 45 minutes into their quote-unquote hangout, a group of men stormed into Bizzy's room, giving him the beats and robbing him of his jewelry.
Minutes afterward, Bizzy Bone stumbles out of his room and goes for help. Later, a celebrating Bow Wow and Ricky Little BK Pearson pose while wearing some of the stolen jewelry.
Mind you, the jewelry was very expensive.
Gold chain necklace, diamond ring, JoJo watch, and bracelet.
Afterwards, surveillance footage from the hotel led to the arrest of Marlo Jones, a member of the Grape Street Crips, who ironically worked for a gang intervention program.
All this time, Bow Wow was employed as a gang intervention worker with Unity One, a subcontractor with the city's LA Bridges gang intervention project.
Over time, 3 other gang members were caught and sentenced, with punishments ranging from 6 to 19 years. The ordeal reminded everyone about the dangers of fame and the risks that come with being too trusting.
Bow Wow gets 12 years in prison, Pearson 19 years, Van Quan VK Knott 11 years, and Marquise Cheese Goss 6 years.
Now, this next situation has to do with 50 Cent and a beef. You see, 50 Cent's bold personality has landed him in multiple beefs throughout his career, and one of those is Young Buck. His long-standing rivalry with 50 Cent has led to some wild encounters, but one recent situation nearly got out of control. While grocery shopping, Buck was approached by a massive 50 Cent fan who pressed him about their feud.
How you doing? What's up with you and 50?
Taking off the camera.
You saw what?
Taking off the camera.
What's up with you and 50?
Buck, maintaining his composure, asked the man to stop filming. However, the fan kept on going and even challenged Buck into a fight. Buck calmly informed him that if it came to that, he was prepared. But the fan doubled down and said that he had something in the car too.
So he said trainers, is that true? Oh no, we about to scrap. Is that true? Yeah, I got something in the car too.
Thankfully, the situation was de-escalated before anyone got hurt. However, it wasn't always like this. Young Buck and 50 Cent were actually colleagues back in the day, as he was a member of G Unit. But things started to deteriorate when Buck allegedly owed 50 Cent money. Over the years, both these artists traded jabs in interviews, songs, and social media, as 50 Cent often mocked Buck about personal and financial struggles, while Buck accused 50 of sabotaging his career. However, in an interview with Steve-O, Young Buck explained that he didn't even know what he did to make 50 to be this mad at him, stating, "We was once brothers. I've always looked at you as big bro." He would even question if he was being treated like one of 50's biggest rivals. "Yes, I made mistakes too, but I never did anything to try to take food out of your mouth or stop you from eating. See how aggressive he is to me? Is he trying to jaw rule me?" But 50 Cent doesn't just treat his little bros like this. Sometimes, he even does this to his OGs. But Young Buck isn't the only person that 50 Cent has pressed. You see, as we all know, 50 isn't one to back down from fights. He has faced countless challenges throughout his career, but his run-ins with the SoundCloud rapper NFL Doom stand out. In one instance, Doom approached 50 while he was on a date, demanding the rap mogul check out his music.
But look at my IG at least. Look at my IG at least. That's some. Hit me, go ahead. I can fight. I don't care. Yeah, the tape, man. Nah, I don't care about the camera. You play some camera. I don't care about it. I want you to hear my shit.
Doom's aggressive approach didn't sit well with 50, who immediately shut him down and criticized his method. As things got heated, the guy on camera had to step in and try to calm things down.
He just wanted you to see his Instagram, man.
I believe my shit. You know what I'm saying? I put money down my shit. You crazy though? I am crazy. I'm crazy about my talent, man. Simply you straight about your talent. It's not gonna work.
Despite Doom's persistence, 50 schooled him on how not to approach industry professionals.
It's not gonna work. How's it gonna work? It's not gonna work. You know why? Because you're stupid. The way you're approaching it is wrong. How? First you want the CD or album? Nah, there's nothing to play right now. There's nothing you can show me right now that's gonna help you.
However, Doom didn't learn his lesson. In a second encounter, he again confronted 50, but this time 50 had enough. And that's why you should know better when it comes to messing with 50.
Look at my IG, it's gonna help you right now. Well, school me, man.
Now, Chicago rapper Rico Reckless, known for beefing with nearly everyone in the city, once found himself in a life-threatening situation when a man named 100K Tuck decided to press him. At first, things seemed okay. However, Tuck came up with a dark plan.
Reckless. What you talking about? Reckless. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Good at any hood.
You see, Tuck was filming a video with Rico and his crew when he suddenly pulled out a strap.
Pop out. You already know we pop out with them long, with them sticks, homie. With them goddamn sticks, homie.
In his mind, it was a great way to get attention.
If Rico Reckless dropped the rakes in front of our face now, we're going viral.
So what exactly was he going to do?
Hey, watch this. You fuck. Oh, yeah, wait. Hey, watch what we do. We finna chase this gangster, y'all.
During his time, civilians at the gas station also acknowledged Rico's presence.
Hit you up, G. I'ma hit you up, G. Hey, y'all know Rico Reckless? Hey, y'all want me to test this gangster real quick? Test this gangster. I'm finna test this gangster. Watch it.
After Rico left, Tuck told his crew that he was about to confront him directly.
Hey, Rico! Hey, 30s. 30s, G. 30s, G. That scary as hell.
However, Tuck wasn't done just yet.
I just seen Rico Reckless. We finna test this gangster, y'all. Come on. Come on. What? Right here, the car right here. Y'all moving too low, too slow. Get to my. Come on, BK. Come on, BK. Y'all niggas be. I ain't with all that. Come on, thug. Nah, just stay right there. Stay right there. Come on, thug. Come on, let's go.
Moments later, Tuck approached Rico's car with his weapon drawn, accusing him of disrespecting the GDs.
G, you fuck with the phone in, right? Cause we GD, we be seeing you throwing down the race shit. We don't fuck with we don't fuck with the not doing that race shit. Cause we got them pose, hey, them pose, them people don't, hey.
Things were heating up, and you could clearly hear the tension rising.
Them people don't, hey, we don't play with all that. We don't play with all that dropping the race and nothing like that. My mama, y'all scary. He's scared. Rico Reckless a bitch. He a bitch.
Fortunately, the driver of Rico's car wasted no time, hitting the gas and escaping before things turned deadly.
Hold on, thug. He a bitch, y'all. 100 KBs, man. These dead, homie. 100 KO. Man, this nigga a bitch. Rico Reckless a bitch. He got scared. We pull over together and pose like that. He's scared of them pose, boy.
Years later, Tuck clarified everything in an interview with Off the Porch. According to Tuck, this viral interaction with Rico helped spark his career.
What really blew the song up is when I ran to Rico Reckless. And that shit went down with Rico Reckless, you feel me? That what really blew the song up even more. Cause it was already doing thousands and thousands of views, but they took it over the top right there. Yeah. But when, that song right there, really, that's when I knew.
According to the rapper, they were actually in Atlanta for music.
It was a point when we was going to Atlanta a lot because I was promoting my music. They used to have a lot of showcases and stuff for money if you win it, you feel me? So I used to go down there a lot.
In his story, you can clearly see that Rico Reckless was outnumbered.
Go down there a lot. It was one point in time that I had it was like 12 of us went down there. You feel me? It was like 12 of us went down there.
And unfortunately for Rico, he went to that gas station at a bad time.
And then we ended up going to the store, you feel me? And that's when me and my brother, we bumped into him, and my cousin bumped into him in the store, you feel me? Mind you, we on all type of drugs, you know, that young hot boy shit, you feel me? It's on all type of.
As soon as Tuck heard Rico was with them at the gas station, he confronted him on camera.
What was it? Man, what was that, like 4 years ago? It was like 19, 18. No, it was like 19, 18, you feel me? So, boom, we run into him, man. So you know me, I said, what up with you, bro? You feel me? I put him on the camera and everything, you feel me? Put him on the camera, we chilling and shit.
However, according to Tuck, what caused his behavior was the substances that they were in, stating,
Bloom, mind you, I didn't know that he had dropped the race in my video that I'm doing it, you feel me? I didn't know that, so cause I'm so lit, you feel me? So I'm on live, it's hundreds of people on live, you feel me?
However, the situation worsened when he read about a comment on his live stream.
I'm walking back towards the car, I'm looking down, I see a comment say, damn, you gonna let brothers drop the race like that in front of you? So I end the live real quick and go on the story. He so did, you feel me? So Bloom, now I'm like.
According to one of the users on his live, Rico was dissing his group.
I'm finna go on and expose his ass now, you feel me? I'm finna go on and test his whole gangster now, you feel me? And my mama put it straight back on live, you feel me? Shit, he went over there, I get over there.
During the heated interaction, Rico was stuck on his phone.
First of all, he on the phone with somebody, you feel me? And he in the car with Miss Twerk something, if y'all even know what that is. Yeah, Miss Twerk something, you feel me? They driving the old, it's what? A Honda? It was like in a Honda, bro, a Honda 06, you feel me? So Bloom.
But that didn't stop Tuck from confronting Reckless.
He on the phone, and I'm talking to him, I'm like, bro, was you dissing GD, bro? What you dissing, bro? You doing all that dissing and shit? He said, no. I'm on the phone with folks right now, man. I'm on the phone. I phone them, you feel me? I ain't even on that, bro.
Tuck added that Rico felt the pressure and that he was scared that time as he begged the driver to drive away.
So I'm just waving to see in his face, you feel me? He looked at me, pull up. So he feel me, scared off, you feel me? Damn near hit the wall on the other side, you feel me?
God damn.
After all, Rico claimed that he thought Tuck and his crew would rob him. However, Tuck clarified his statement by implying that there was nothing to rob at the time.
Man, look, hold on. So he get on the Vlad and he tell them that we tried to rob him. You feel me? Mind you, he had on a Adidas jumpsuit. A whole Adidas jumpsuit with nothing on, with slides. He had nothing on. He ain't even going in to get anything. What do you get out of a drink?
And this wasn't the first time Rico found himself in danger at a gas station. In another incident, a fan jokingly suggested robbing him while asking for a picture. Sensing trouble, Rico left in an Uber, only for a certain piercing sound to ring out as he drove away. Rico was hit, but he survived the ordeal. However, despite his survival, these incidents highlight how dangerous it is for rappers to move without security in areas where their reputation precedes them. Someone who learned that the hard way was a rapper named Chingy, a St. Louis rapper behind hits like Right There, who might not be dominating the charts anymore, but his street smarts still remain sharp. You see, while riding an elevator, Chingy was approached by a fan who began filming him. At first, Chingy played it cool, treating the interaction like any other fan encounter. But when the fan pushed boundaries and got aggressive, Chingy quickly told him to back off.
I like the way you do that right there, right there. Yo, you wild, go. You wild. Don't touch me, bro. Don't touch me.
The situation escalated when the fan warned Chingy not to touch him. The rapper stood his ground, ready to defend him if necessary. And during this time, it was necessary as the two men started to throw hands while even inside the elevator.
Yo, you want to call away? Don't touch me, bro. Don't touch me. New York, man.
However, not all rappers have the luxury of avoiding escalation. Sometimes they actually start it themselves. And that's what happened when K Suave, a rising artist from Ohio, found himself in a heated situation when a guy allegedly stole his ring. The thing is, that wasn't a regular ring. It was a very, very expensive piece of jewelry. So rather than let it slide, Suave confronted the accused culprit, demanding he return his jewelry. He made it clear that unless the ring was returned, things were going to get ugly. His frustration boiled over as he called out their lies, even threatening to escalate if they didn't come clean.
Confrontation, yeah. Where my ring at? Yeah. Hey, quit pulling up your pants. I'm just smacking you, nigga. I punch you in your shit right now, nigga.
Your ring, Swab. I'm telling you, bro.
No, you lying, bro.
No, bro.
Your people's already said that you already been jealous.
And not long after, Suave had enough and things eventually got physical.
Just talk to Shut the fuck up.
So what?
Shut the fuck up. What's wrong with you, nigga? Sit still. Let my ring, bro.
I swear to God, bro. God, man, I don't have it.
That's dramatic.
The guy played dumb, denying any involvement, but Suave wasn't buying it.
Where's my ring, bro? And the answer gonna be the same, bro. Bro, Roy, come smack this nigga up a couple times, bro.
Suave's mind, if it's not there, the guy could have sold it to someone already for a quick profit, or stashed it away.
Why can't you just get it ring up, bro? What I gotta give you, bro?
Nothing, man. Don't have it.
You're lying. And you don't have it. You sold it already.
I didn't sell nothing, bro. I ain't been nowhere. I ain't got no car, no nothing. Nigga been at home.
Unfortunately, this was about to get much worse for the thief since Suave was ordering one of his friends to give him the beats. And it was so brutal, I can't really show it to you. And it was way too bad for YouTube. But just know it was bad. Now imagine this guy got this type of treatment and didn't steal K Suave's ring. Yeah. But what happens when a rapper takes on an entire squad of goons? Well, rapper T-Ski has the answer. You see, T-Ski's encounter with a group of ops was crazy. A lot of rappers these days might be fake tough or cap rap in their raps, but T-Ski isn't one of them. In one instance, he even got attacked while being on house arrest. According to his story, he was just playing 2K.
That's crazy. So you got playing the game. While you was playing the game, you got shot, man?
I was playing 2K. I'm full now. Oh yeah, I got off the subject. I'm finna tell you, I was down 10 points. On Gregory, I remember like it was yesterday. I was down 10 points.
When all of a sudden, shots started coming through.
The shots bitch, ain't coming through none though. You know? And then they shot like 7 times. Like after.
It's not a switch.
Hell nah, this is back then. This was before Buns was out. Sure. Buns wasn't even out or hot or none of that back then on my son. So bam, I hit him on Craig.
T-Ski even recalled what position he was sitting down, playing 2K.
Yeah.
Just like this on Craig Gray, the controller in my hand, the bullet broke the controller, like the circle. The bullet broke the circle on the controller on Craig, like jam.
Unfortunately, this run-in with his ops made him lose one finger.
Finger. On Craig Gray, look, I got hit in my next finger. On my son, shit gone now. Like, I'm gonna be real, I'm on interview, I'm telling you, like,
I didn't see it till now.
Like, my shit gone. Like, I got it amputated this year in June.
However, that was just his finger. To further show how tough he is, let's see how he did when he got checked by goons in public. While walking through the block, T-Ski was spotted by a group of men who thought they had the upper hand.
Watch out, come on. Check it out. Come here.
But T-Ski wasn't fazed. Instead of backing down, he stood his ground, calling them out for their antics.
Come here. Boy, you a goofy. Check it out. Risky, nigga. Fuck you.
The men, realizing they had underestimated him, quickly retreated, embarrassed and defeated.
Watch out. Go grab B. Hey, go grab Big Rico. Hey, camera, Billy, check it out. He's scary. He's scary off. Come here. He's scary. Check it out.
T-Ski's ability to handle himself without backup or weapons earned him major respect. In an industry where many rely on entourages for protection, his solo victory proved that true strength doesn't come from numbers but from character.
Check it out. Check it out. You don't even have a pipe. So you're a fat ass goofy on my dear. You only got no bitch. Calm down. Watch out. What up? Hey, hold that channel.
But what does it truly take to command respect in such a dangerous game? Let's proceed to the time Lil Baby got checked by goons in St. Louis. You see, when Lil Baby was in St. Louis preparing for a show, all of a sudden, some goons from a local gang decided to check him since he was in their hood, thinking they could corner the young rapper and intimidate them into paying him. Lil Baby, on the other hand, stood his ground. So these goons were mad at Lil Baby since he was in their hood. In short, they wanted him to check in with them. Of course, Lil Baby wasn't having any of it. And although his crew looked like they were prepared to do something, everyone got out of that situation untouched. But things get truly heated when family members get dragged into conflict. Honeycomb Brazy's life took a devastating turn in February of 2021. After years of war on the streets and surviving multiple attempts on his life, the Alabama rapper became a target of attacks by his rival crew. You see, Brazy had allegedly been involved in the passing of his childhood friend turned rival, Ladarius Stank Moore, back in 2016. And this incident set off a chain reaction of violence. There's even a POV of what happened caught by CCTV. However, the most devastating blow came when his grandparents got involved in his battles. Unfortunately, Brazy's grandparents were attacked in a revenge plot by his ops.
Calling it gruesome. They've also identified the two as Leela and Tony Lewis and were the head of their families. And we've also learned that they are the grandparents of local rapper Honeycomb Brazy.
Their house was brutally attacked, and honestly, the aftermath was brutal. The niece of Honeycomb Brazy's grandparents spoke out, saying, "It was very gruesome. No one deserved, no one. Not just because it was my family, but no one deserved to be treated like that. They had no remorse for human life at all. They don't realize what they took from us." Police connected the attack to Darren Southall, a kingpin with cartel ties and Stank's uncle. Although Southall and his crew were eventually arrested, the damage was already done as Brazy mourned the loss of his beloved grandparents. So just how far do these gang wars go for revenge and street conflict? Unfortunately, Brazy's career and life would only get worse as he pleaded guilty to a federal gun charge from a traffic stop just last year. Another rapper who constantly gets into trouble because of their antics is Whack 100. You see, Whack has built the reputation of going into podcasts and making a bunch of claims that don't add up, and because of that, other rappers and gang members have him in their sight, until one time, Whack's behavior finally caught up to him. And while this incident wasn't physical, nor was Whack checked in person, it was still a fairly terrifying situation. And it goes like this. Whack was arguing with a goon from the Bloods during a podcast, and when things got heated, the goon let Whack know that he knew where he lived.
This right, you got somebody close to you right now, Texas Avenue, my nigga. Texas Avenue, my nigga.
Do it. I don't know that address on Paul.
Man, you know that address. There's somebody close to you right now.
And when Whack still didn't believe him, the guy went on to describe what his home looked like. Afterwards, Whack got a little quiet, and he became way more aggressive, clearly agitated at the idea that his ops knew where he lived.
It's a garage. It's the garage. Two pit bulls in the garage, my nigga, with a little studio. You know what I'm talking about? Stop playing with me. There 2 pit bulls in that little studio in the garage. That shit home. It hit home, didn't it?
And while it's unknown whether the goons really did hit up his home, as they were probably just threatening him and using this information to get him to back down, it still must have been scary. Now let's talk about another rapper who messed around and found out. TJX6, a rapper known for inventing scam rap, who rapped about stealing identities and practicing credit card fraud. One time, TJX6 posted a picture of Lil Baby's ID on social media, saying he was gonna make a fortune off his name, and of course, clowning on Lil Baby's tough street image in the process. Soon afterward, TJ's fans told him to take the post down and warned him that Lil Baby could make him pay. However, TJ didn't listen and kept his post up. And what would you know? A few days later, while walking around in a shopping mall in Atlanta, a group of goons ran up on him, causing TJ to run out of there as fast as he could.
Goddamn fighting the goddamn limit, bro. You nigga fighting, guys, damn.
Man, TJ can really run, huh? After this incident, TJ hopped on Instagram Live to explain his side of the situation, since a lot of people were clowning on him really hard for running away.
That nigga is Sonic X6. Do up, you funny as hell, boy. Man, when you gotta run, man, sometimes you gotta run, bro. Like I said, man, sometimes you gotta run, bro.
Running away was definitely the smartest choice for TJ since there were at least 10 people ready to give him the beats, and whether those guys were Lil Baby's goons or not is unknown, but considering this happened just a few days after he posted Lil Baby's ID, a lot of people speculated that Lil Baby was the mastermind. That said, TJ doesn't always run from trouble, and later explained that he only ran away that time because he was outnumbered. Okay, that makes sense, right? Well, there's another instance where TJ had to deal with a goon. Fortunately for him, there was only one goon this time. You see, the goon saw TJ with his son while he was at a grocery store, so he decided to hop on Instagram Live to show his followers that he met the rapper.
Yo, bro, do me a favor real quick. Say something to my line real quick.
Yo. Yo.
Tell the niggas what's the deal though.
What up, nigga? I just said what up, nigga.
Up here liking that Kroger though.
So TJ was just going about his day, running errands with his kid, and when the fan approached him, he was nice and cordial. However, when the fan walked away, he started talking crazy about TJ.
This nigga TJ liking that fucking Kroger, bro. I should have smacked that nigga. I should have smacked that nigga. Fuck you talking about? If this bitch get up to 40, I'll go up to smack him. Rude.
So yeah, either this guy was a fan who was clout chasing, or he was a hater and saw this as an opportunity to create an altercation. Either way, he went out of his way to find TJ again in that grocery store. So while TJ was being nice earlier, he must have noticed that this guy was creeping around the grocery store stalking him. So TJ turned it up and confronted the dude. And, well, he decided it was time to teach this guy a lesson.
Who walking up on me, bro? You bet. Who walking up on me, nigga? Alright, quit walking up on me, nigga. Alright. Watch out.
And while it looked like things were about to get crazier when the goon put his phone down, he quickly picked it up and just walked away.
Why would I, bro, you on some weird, bro.
Stop walking up on me, nigga.
Alright, bro.
Come outside.
That guy looked terrified. Instead of being the one doing what he said he would, in fact, TJ was so angry at the man that he told him to meet him outside so that he could get rid of him for good. And as for our little wannabe tough guy here, he kept pretending like he was fine for the rest of the video, but he clearly looked shaken and afraid. It seemed like some of his viewers were laughing at him too, because he said this.
Man, y'all laughing and shit, bro.
And I guess that's just what happens when your mouth writes checks that your body can't cash. Now, let's talk about the time Travis Scott and Young Thug pissed off goons in Virginia, and almost paid dearly for it. In 2015, Travis Scott and Young Thug were touring, and in their stop in Virginia, they started dissing Trey Songz on stage. Trey Songz is from Virginia, so a couple of people in the crowd were major Trey Songz fans, and they didn't really like how Travis Scott and Young Thug were dissing their idol. So after the show, a group of Virginia goons stopped Travis and Young Thug's tour bus and urged them to get out so, you know, they could talk to them.
Young Thug. Nigga got young Thug bust around it. Nigga don't want to open the door. They try to come to Virginia with that shit. Think they gonna get over on niggas. They got the wrong nigga, man. You know what I'm saying?
Fortunately, no one truly got hurt here, and Travis and Thug's bus was able to eventually drive away safely. So things were going good for the goons too, since there was no way Travis and Thug wouldn't be backed up by security if things went left. Another rapper who's no stranger to tense encounters in public is Boosie, one of Baton Rouge's most prolific rappers. And even though this next incident initially had nothing to do with him, he stepped in because he saw someone getting disrespected unfairly. You see, Boosie was at a hotel, probably just hoping to unwind when he noticed that a man was going off on a female hotel employee about some mistake. He must have thought that this guy was taking things too far, so he stepped in to teach the customer the meaning of respect.
You ain't gonna talk to her like that. I would ask you talk to me like that.
It's okay.
You're not gonna disrespect no woman like that, bro. Come on, she telling you, everybody's saying they're sorry. Let her go, bro. She telling you she's sorry.
Boosie later talked about the moment in a tweet, explaining what really happened that led him to get that angry, saying, "The reason I told that man that because he backed a woman down until she could do nothing. He kept approaching her after she said sorry. Then he said, no, you go apologize to my wife too. He was doing the most, don't let that video fool you." So honestly, that whole situation was just wholesome, except for the rude customer. But going back to rappers who had to deal with goons, this next rapper who had to deal with a random goon was Yella Beezy. Another rapper who's definitely in touch with gang culture, Yella isn't one to back down from a fight, and seeing as this guy has most definitely seen his fair share of altercations, he chooses to remain strapped at all times should anything happen. So when this random goon went up to him to start something, he noticed that Yella was strapped, so he urged him to drop his tool so things could be fair.
You see I'm solo? You see I'm solo? Come box. Come box. Come box. I'm over here. Come on. We'll go over here right in the grass. I'm right here. So you can. I'm naked. not gonna shoot? How you gotta come over? I'm naked. I'm right here. On me first, bro.
But the goon still wouldn't back down, so he approached him with a tool still in his pocket and urged the guy to strike first.
Come swing on me first. Come swing on me first. Come swing on me first. Come swing on me first.
See,
Come swing on me first.
I see it in your
Come swing on me
pocket,
first.
I see the gun in your pocket.
Come swing.
I see the gun in your pocket, cuz.
Come swing.
Look, got the gun
Come
in your
swing,
pocket.
bro.
Boy, I see the
Come
gun in your
swing,
pocket,
bro.
boy.
Yeah, that went on for a few more seconds. Bizzy was being smart here. Knowing that he was the guy recording, he was urging him to strike first in case this incident, if anything happened, would be taken to court. He could plead self-defense. And the other guy explained that the reason why Bizzy wouldn't engage with him was because he was afraid of losing to a white boy.
You got a gun.
Recording me, come swing.
Why you got a gun?
Recording me, come swing.
Yeah, you see that? He ain't
Swing,
gonna box
nigga.
a white boy because he got a gun.
Swing.
As soon as
Now
I
you
swing,
recording,
you
you
gon'
on
up
police
it.
game.
As soon
You
as
on
I
police game. You trying to record.
As soon as I swing, you gon' up it.
Now the video eventually cut out after that without anyone throwing hands, but at least Bizzy wasn't embarrassed by this so-called goon. Another rapper who gets checked by goons more than anyone in the rap game is YK Osiris. For some reason, he just can't catch a break. He just has this reputation of being a pushover in the rap community because of how much others push him around, and it could be because he owes a lot of people money. For example, he was checked by Lil Baby for owing him $5K.
I'm sorry, let me get my 5 in, bro.
I need to see today. I can't wait to get you. I can't.
You right now.
He's so funny. He's so funny, man.
I'm dead ass. See, you know, I made rap go up and down.
Drake made a fool out of him by forcing him to sing for owing him over $60K.
You owe me 60 bands? I'm playing the song right now. You ready? I need you. I need a full. You won't owe me no money right now. I swear. I need a full performance though.
At this point, YK Osiris is pretty much every A-list rapper's personal clown. But aside from being made fun of by his peers, some goons have also checked him for not checking in. While shopping in Toronto, a couple of gangsters went up to him and decided to get him to check in. Not wanting to deal with them, Osiris just hid at the store.
Are you scared, my The mall's closed, Carl. Are you hiding in the store, my nigga? Oh my god. Yo, this guy's crazy. Man's hiding in the store.
Just so he could get out of that store, Osiris eventually had the mall security escort him out. Poor guy. But at least he was able to get out of the situation safely, regardless of how embarrassing and terrifying that must have been for him. So as we all know by now, reputation plays a huge factor when you operate in the rap game. And as for FBG Butta, some people may mistake his goofy demeanor and friendly personality in interviews as him being soft. But make no mistake, Butta can hold his ground when he's pressed, which he proved when some random goon tried to make fun of him while he was hanging out in a club.
Oh, look at this Butta. Hey, Butta, stop overwhelming, gang. Everybody. All entertainment, gang. All entertainment. Hey, Shorty, tell him stop overwhelming, Shorty. Man, that's a little money, Shorty. That ain't a lot of money, Shorty.
For some reason, the guy thought it would be funny to make fun of Buddy's money, of all things, saying that the wad of cash he was flashing was just a small amount. But Butta didn't let a random goon phase him at first. However, as the guy kept on bothering him, Butta finally had enough, and he let him know.
What does they say? They just wanna have my baby born in the 80s. Fuck it. Chasing the internet,
And this guy could have ended things right here. He wanted smoke and he got it, right? End of story. Well, not so fast, because the guy FBG Butta just pressed decided to continue running his mouth after that incident, explaining that Butta didn't get the job done, which ended up getting his phone knocked away. And that was the end of that.